Art is a method of opening up areas of feeling rather than merely an illustration of an object. These words by Francis Bacon encapsulate the essence of his work, a body of art that is as unsettling as it is captivating. Bacon was a painter who dared to explore the darker corners of the human psyche, creating visceral, often disturbing images that challenged conventional notions of beauty and meaning. But who was Francis Bacon? What drove him to create such provocative works? And how did he become one of the most influential artists of the 20th century? Let's delve into the life, struggles, and legacy of this enigmatic artist. Early life and turbulent beginnings. Francis Bacon was born on October 28, 1909, in Dublin, Ireland, to English parents. His father, Anthony Edward Mortimer Bacon, was a retired army captain and a racehorse trainer, while his mother, Christina Winifred Firth, came from a wealthy Sheffield family. Bacon's childhood was marked by instability and conflict. He suffered from chronic asthma, which kept him out of school for long periods, and his relationship with his father was strained. The Bacon family moved frequently between Ireland and England, and young Francis was exposed to the violence and upheaval of the Irish War of Independence. These early experiences of chaos and brutality would later find their way into his art. At the age of 16, Bacon was expelled from his family home after his father discovered him trying on his mother's clothing, an early indication of his struggle with his identity and sexuality. Bacon moved to London, where he lived a bohemian lifestyle, working odd jobs and immersing himself in the city's underground culture. He briefly worked as an interior designer and furniture designer, but his true passion lay in painting. Although he had no formal training, Bacon began to experiment with art, drawing inspiration from the works of Picasso and the Old Masters. The emergence of a unique style. Bacon's early attempts at painting were largely unsuccessful, and he destroyed most of his work from this period. It wasn't until the mid-1940s that he began to develop the distinctive style that would define his career. His breakthrough came in 1944 with 3 studies for figures at the base of a crucifixion, a triptych that shocked the art world with its grotesque, distorted figures and raw emotional intensity. The painting marked a turning point in Bacon's career, establishing him as a bold and uncompromising artist. His work was deeply influenced by his fascination with the human body, mortality, and the existential angst of the post-war era. Bacon's paintings often depicted isolated figures trapped in ambiguous, nightmarish spaces, their bodies contorted and their faces twisted in agony or despair. Themes and influences. Bacon's art was deeply personal, reflecting his own struggles with identity, sexuality, and the human condition. He was openly gay at a time when homosexuality was criminalized in Britain, and his work often explored themes of desire, violence, and alienation. Bacon drew inspiration from a wide range of sources, including photography, film, and literature. One of his most significant influences was the 1925 silent film Battleship Potemkin, directed by Sergei Eisenstein. The famous scene of a nurse screaming on the Odessa steps left a lasting impression on Bacon and became a recurring motif in his work. He also admired the works of Diego Velázquez, particularly his portrait of Pope Innocent X, which Bacon reinterpreted in his own Screaming Pope series. Bacon's paintings were not meant to be literal representations, but rather expressions of raw emotion and psychological depth. He often worked from photographs rather than live models, using them as a starting point for his distorted, dreamlike compositions. His use of bold colors, dynamic brushstrokes, and unsettling imagery created a sense of unease that resonated with viewers on a visceral level. Major works and critical acclaim. Throughout his career, Bacon produced a series of iconic works that cemented his reputation as one of the most important artists of his time. One of his most famous paintings is Study after Velázquez's portrait of Pope Innocent X, 1953, part of his Screaming Pope series. The painting reimagines Velázquez's dignified portrait as a nightmarish vision of anguish and despair, capturing the existential terror of the modern age. Another notable work is 3 Studies for Figures at the Base of a Crucifixion, 1944, which established Bacon as a major force in the art world. The triptych features 3 grotesque, hybrid creatures that seem to writhe in agony, evoking a sense of primal horror. Bacon's portrait of Lucian Freud, 1969, is another masterpiece, showcasing his ability to capture the psychological complexity of his subjects. The painting depicts fellow artist Lucian Freud seated on a chair, his body twisted and his face obscured by shadow. The work is a powerful exploration of identity and the human condition. Bacon's art was not without controversy. His graphic depictions of violence and sexuality often shocked audiences, but they also earned him critical acclaim. In 1962, the Tate Gallery in London held a major retrospective of his work, solidifying his status as a leading figure in contemporary art. Personal life and relationships. Bacon's personal life was as tumultuous as his art. He was known for his hedonistic lifestyle, frequenting London's Soho district and indulging in gambling, drinking, and late-night revelry. Despite his wild reputation, Bacon was deeply committed to his work, often painting for hours on end in his chaotic studio. One of the most significant relationships in Bacon's life was with George Dyer, a petty criminal whom he met in 1963. Dyer became Bacon's lover and muse, appearing in many of his paintings. However, their relationship was fraught with tension, and Dyer struggled with alcoholism and depression. In 1971, just 2 days before the opening of a major retrospective of Bacon's work at the Grand Palais in Paris, Dyer died by suicide in their hotel room. The tragedy had a profound impact on Bacon, and he channeled his grief into a series of powerful paintings known as the Black Triptychs. Bacon continued to paint and exhibit his work until his death in 1992. He remained a controversial and enigmatic figure, revered for his artistic genius and criticized for his provocative subject matter. Legacy and influence. Francis Bacon passed away on April 28, 1992, in Madrid, Spain, at the age of 82. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy lives on. Bacon's work continues to captivate and challenge audiences, pushing the boundaries of what art can achieve. Today, Bacon is regarded as one of the most important artists of the 20th century. His paintings are held in major museums and collections around the world, and his influence can be seen in the works of contemporary artists such as Damien Hirst and Jenny Saville. Bacon's ability to convey the raw, unfiltered emotions of the human experience has left an indelible mark on the art world. Francis Bacon's life and work remind us that art is not always about beauty or comfort. It is about truth, no matter how unsettling or uncomfortable that truth may be. Through his bold, unflinching exploration of the human condition, Bacon created a body of work that continues to provoke, inspire, and resonate with viewers. As Bacon himself once said, "The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery." His paintings invite us to confront the darker aspects of our own humanity, to question our assumptions, and to see the world in a new light. Whether through his Screaming Pope series, his haunting portraits, or his powerful triptychs, Bacon's art challenges us to look beyond the surface and to feel the depth of human emotion. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Francis Bacon. His story is a testament to the power of art to confront, disturb, and ultimately transform our understanding of the world and ourselves.